All right, welcome back to the mini Sales History Museum mini virtual tour. There's so much to go through. So much of my collection is from the 1880s through into the 1960s with kind of a core from 1910 to 1930. Today, I want to take you through one of the shelves of books and then take you through one thing that I think is pretty special that I was able to grab from one of the true pioneers of the sales profession. This is part 3. If you missed part 1 and 2, you can check those out. youtube.com/@tcaponi or go to toddcaponi.com. Hit the drop down for videos. I'm posting them there. Let's go through this top shelf. And there's so much here, guys. I mean, multiple shelves of stuff. But there's a couple of things that I think are really, really cool that I wanted to point out. So you'll see this collection of books anywhere from 1886 through to early 1930. They're all on sales management. There's one book that's on marketing. There's a couple of special ones here. So this first one, this is called The Business Guide. It is from 1886. I think it's really, really cool. It's about building a business and structuring a business. 1886. One of the cool things in it is there's a chapter on writing. Now, when you think about a chapter of writing, you think business writing and being using the right words and paragraph structures and how do we approach it. This one takes a step back, though, and starts by teaching you how to actually sit at a desk properly, how to hold the pen, what angle the pen should be at. So lots of true foundational fundamentals from the 1880s in that book. There's another collection here of 4 books from Elmer Ellsworth Ferris. They're from around 1930. That one covers all topics of sales and sales management. I use some of the insights from that in my second book, The Transparent Sales Leader. So incredible stuff there. A couple of other unique ones. Here you're going to find a book called Keeping the Salesman Fit. This one is from 1926. It is really interesting in that when we talk about being a efficient, effective sales professional, being fit both physically and mentally is really important. They understood that in 1926, and a whole book was written about it. This one was from Vardman and Lovelace in 1926. I think they did a really, really good job. But, these old books are so cool in the way that they look, the way that they smell. You've got the inside leafing that is so cool, the way these things are structured. There's some handwriting in a few of these books. Again, I just think it's super cool. Let's go to, you might notice there's a stack of books here. These are really, really small, but this is a classic collection that I was able to get. These are all written by the GOAT of sales philosophers, as I mentioned in the first 2 videos, Arthur Sheldon. These are a set of 16 correspondence courses called The Science of Business Building. And they are foundationally structured correspondence courses, meaning you would take a class, so you'd go through it. They read like mini books, and then you would send in some homework. Oftentimes you would get that second book, you'd have your homework checked. What's amazing about these is these are all dated from 1911. There were literally tens of thousands of people around the world signing up to take these courses. That was part of the reason why Sheldon had established that whole campus north of Chicago. He had its own post office. He named it its own city, multiple buildings. It was required to be able to support the tens of thousands of salespeople from around the world that were interested in taking all of his correspondence courses. This one was not the first, but I did manage to get the 16-book collection. I've read every word, and I think it's magical. Last but not least, there is a thing that hangs behind my desk here. It's a little bit hidden. It shouldn't be. It is a hand-signed letter. It's from 1926. The hand-signed letter is from a woman named Lucinca W. Prince. Now, if you've followed along on the Sales History podcast, I've got a whole episode of the podcast dedicated to Lucinca W. Prince, as I believe she is the pioneer for women in the sales profession. Back in 1905, she was a member of a kind of a women's league club in Boston. And as she's attending it, there were women salespeople that were complaining about the fact that men were making more than them. Now, what was interesting is that she identified that it wasn't a discriminatory thing per se. Maybe that played a role, but at its core, the discriminatory piece was that women just didn't have access to the same tools the same resources and the same education as men did in the sales profession. So she established a women's sales professional education program. It became so popular that Lucinda Prince by the 1910s was a sought-after speaker around the country. She wrote a book, and she had established this organization that by the 1920s, she had a number of individuals that were seeking her guidance, that would write her a letter and ask questions. In this one specifically, this letter is a woman inquiring about negotiating her salary for her sales role. And Lucinda Prince gives some really great advice as a part of it. I was able to win this one at auction on eBay. Amazing little piece of history as far as I'm concerned, and to have something handwritten from such a prominent player in the foundation of building the sales profession, especially for women, I think is pretty cool. So that's another row. That's part 3. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got feedback, please let me know. If there's something you want to see, even better. But until next time, thanks again for listening. All right.